games for fun. So what are we doing today? Today we're going to be working on Crisis Center again. Crisis Center, good time. I'm ready. Today, well, more accurately, I did do some things. Actually, I did do some things. Don't you think I didn't? Hey, there are people. Now if I go down here, if we go all the way down here, here is the Crisis Axe. I did do a few of these. I wanted to set them up correctly. We've got things such as getting your arm severed, having a mangled arm, your bloodied arm, an injured arm. These are kind of like one of the more generic ones. The best way to think about it is injuring your arm is, oof, ow, my arm hurts now. Bloody arm is, ow, fuck, there's a lot of blood here now. I am in incredible pain. Mangling your arm is having your arm broken. That is effectively something has happened to your arm that has rendered it not very good. Having your arm fucking severed is pretty simple. It's just severed. It's just gone. These have the two, which is kind of the the basic the basic ones for both of your limbs. Then we start getting into some of the odder ones, such as autophobia, being alone or isolated. If you can trigger this and get 2 CP and get 1 SP, which is just autophobia is the fear of being alone, which is very simple. We have Awe of the Devil and Awe of the Saint, which is more along the ideas of encountering a devil or encountering an angel for the first time, which is a little bit horrifying. Being like, this is one of those ones which I encourage you to take this one early on. And let's see, we have the poison status effect. You just vomit ichor. What are some other strange one we have? Yes, we have the karma one. Karma is pretty simple. The idea is a lot of these are going to be based off your imprints, and your imprints are going to be like, if you just do these, you get a little bit of CP, you get a little bit of SP, but yeah, it's kind of very simple in that regard. Let me see some other one. Bloody Vomit, which is just sends the, there's a reeling, I should say reeling. Reeling, coughing up blood, sends a shiver down the spine. Broken Ribs, Broken Shell, which is more along the idea of that, like, any AP reaches 0. I should say any AP reaches 0, because you're gonna... Cascading Terror, which an ally uses a mental injury crisis act, which you can just immediately trigger it to getting scared yourself. You have a concussion. That's really bad. You're condemned. You've been in the pit for too long. You're just fucking scared. Where was another one? Oh yeah, Defaced, which is your face has been ripped off. Yeah, technically, if you do spend this, if your HP is between 1 to 5, you can say, hey, half my face has been torn off. Hey, let's just it's just gone now. Yeah, Disarm, this just means you lose your weapon. Getting your eye gouged out is another pretty big one. Drain, this is more related to your MP. And using kind of the exhausted one, Death Row, kind of the same idea as a lot of the other karma ones. Your gun jams. Hey, this is bad. You have to spend a reload to fix it. This is bad. Gut stab. If you have 0 AP on your body and you take HP damage, pretty much you get impaled slightly, and it's ripped out, and you have bleeding 4 and shock. Shock is a little bit weird because I don't quite know how I want to do it yet, but the idea is very simple. If you have shock, and your chance of actually coming back from a capitulation is a lot harder. Because you're always going to take a handful of dice, which is going to be like, okay, here's my ability to survive capitulation. This is going to be pretty easy on your first few attempts. If you have shock, there's 3 options currently, which is you half the amount of dice you're going to be rolling. So whatever you have, you just half it. You double whatever the difficulty is. So if you have like an SP of, let's say, 12, it's going to be 24 now. Or it's what was the other one? It was it was double the difficulty, double the amount, lower the amount of dice, or I can't remember the top of my head now. There's another one which was kind of the same idea though. Pretty much making your life just infinitely more miserable. So this is the system where you gain resources after bad things happen to you. Correct. That crisis point, CP there, effectively allows you to activate crisis abilities. Crisis abilities are actually very powerful. If I give me 1 second, I will scroll up here. Scroll up to some of the crisis abilities. Crisis abilities are things such as God is Winking. It's an active ability, you deal whatever your damage is, and if it's a demon, they're going to take an additional 12d6 damage. It only costs 7 crisis points to do, though. Power and Misery. If they are, after you succeed in a capitulate, if you succeed in a capitulation roll after being defeated, you can just deal 10d6 damage to a target enemy within range. You are still defeated, but you can still use it. Lured someone. You also get things like Resurrection. You regain all your HP and MP. Pretty good. Invincible. Ignore an attack. Where was the one? Yeah, you get things like Last Shot, Vanishing Cry, and Miracle Power, which increases your damage by 20d6, but getting 12 crisis points is very difficult. The worse shit happens to you, the more you're going to end up with. The problem is, this is the big thing too, is that all of this is chosen by you. If you take HP damage, you can elect to have the gut stab, to get your gut stabbed. You have a fucking piece of, like, you have a weapon going through you now, going out the other side. Your insides are now coming out. You are in extreme pain and in extreme danger. But you have 5 crisis points that you can use to turn the tide of a fight. And maybe that's all you need. Maybe you are going to, maybe getting your face ripped off is going to be the only thing you can do right now. Because if you get your face ripped off, you're going to get 5 more crisis points, and that's going to allow you to do something. And if you're allowed to do it, well, that might just be the thing that's going to save you. Or hey, you get your arm tore off. Okay, this is something we can work with now. You have just a few broken ribs. The worst shit goes on. You are choosing to hurt yourself. This is the big thing. SP, on the other hand, this is the big idea with SP, is the higher your SP, your sin points, effectively, the higher your sin, the harder it is to survive a capitulation roll. Pretty much when you hit 0 HP, you're not dead. You're going to gather up all your dice, a couple dice, and you're going to try to beat whatever your current sin value is. Your sin points are, let's say, 5. You're going to roll. And I beat it. I got a 6, a 3, a 4. I got 13. I got 15. I succeeded. I'm not going to die. At the end of the combat, I'm going to get back up. I'm not dead yet. But if all my friends obviously go down, then, well, things are pretty bad, looking pretty bad for us. That's the big thing with Crisis X, and this is one of the things that really fascinated me about Crisis Heroine. All the bad shit that goes on in Crisis Heroine is because of you. You make that choice. The GM has no power, has no ability, has no influence on it outside that sending an enemy at you. That enemy gets to you, you have to be the one to hurt yourself. And generally speaking, how things kind of go, if you aren't using these crisis acts, things are going to go a lot worse for you. Because you need to use those crisis abilities to allow you to succeed at certain checks. Adding 12d6 to an attack may be the difference between doing 6 damage and doing 20 damage. And higher that value, more you're able to survive. So what's worse, dying or maybe getting your arm ripped off? You can survive that, hopefully. But can you really survive everyone else dying? That's where you get things like autophobia, which is really kind of scary, which is the idea like, yeah, you have to be alone. And if you are alone, you get a little bit more, but things are going wrong. Weird and interesting thing about Crisis Heroine as well is that technically the amount of CP and SP you gain is tied directly to your experience points. So if you want to get more powerful, you need to hurt yourself more. The more bad shit goes on, the better you are going to be. It's great. People were asking me, be like, why the hell are you even trying this project? It's just because of shit like this. It fascinates me. It is a genuine fascination of mine. Most likely what I will do is mark some of these being like, take this one early, take this one early. Like, if you want to just go in there pretty quick and dirty, take things like Awe of the Saint, Awe of the Devil, because you're guaranteed going to get some of these. You're guaranteed going to get probably Awe of the Devil pretty easy. You're probably going to get Awe of the Saint pretty easily. But maybe you just want, hey, body injury, Black Eye's pretty decent if you have 0 AP on your head. Which you can, if as long as you have eyes and 0 AP on your head, you can get a fucking black eye. You get decked in the face. You get a little bit of power. And one of the big things is the idea of, if I scroll up all, is right here, potential. Potential is really fucking good because you can use on any roll or crisis. You can be combined with any roll, any crisis act, anything. And then you can declare it and spend as much as you want, much CP as you want, and you're going to get raw plus D6 to it. So if you've got like 3 points, that's an extra 3d6 in a game based around 2d6. That's pretty fucking good. Potential is kind of one of the glues that hold everything together. But yeah, I'm just gonna we've got a few of these to go. If I ring it in the corner here. Yeah, here are some of the ones that we're going to be going over here. You kind of see here are of various qualities. So we're just going to be adding them. That's all we're going to be doing. Gut wound. Now, luckily, I do have my little thing over here. This is the CP-SP gain. If we're going to actually blow that up just so I can see it a little bit better. Generally speaking, you always are going to get more CP than you're going to get SP. You're going to get more of a benefit than anything, but some of these are also again, this is a +4 difficulty to getting it. It's like, oh, well, that's really bad. We'll say gut wound. This is just HP damage. Requirements, none. This is just a basic injury. And yeah, this is just a basic injury. This is just yeah. No. Go isn't dead, so yeah, you get a little bit there. The injuries and things are kind of like your basic ones, like you take a wound, you take this. This is, you're in pain. Actually, I should say gain the stats. What was the gouged eye? What was the one? Gut jam, gut stab. Yeah, okay. Yeah, things like getting your gut stabbed is pretty bad because, oh yeah, it was broken ribs. That was a broken ribs. Crunch burning pain reminds you have a broken wind. You're winded. Okay, we're not gonna give him winded on a gut wound. Seth is releasing a video in 5 minutes. God fucking damn it. Of course he's gonna release a video right now. Son of a bitch. That bitch. That little cuck. That bitch. God damn it. He released the Bastard Bonds video. God damn it. Fucking Bastard Bonds. I've been trying, like, I've been waiting for the Bastard Bonds videos forever. Like, I like Bastard Bonds. You gotta remember that. I think it's a really fucking good game. And I guess now's the time, if anything. Like, let's do Haunted Visions. Mental? Do I mark that as mental or mark that as soul? Soul injury. We'll do 2, 1, reaches 0, none. Actually, requirements. Let's see. We'll use a chaos technique. Use a chaos technique. Not the corner. At the corner of your eye. Corner of the prisoner's eye. Something malicious. There we go, which means immediately goes up to horrific injury. Forget, gotta do it this way. Horrific injury. For 3 battle conditions, HP actually less than half HP. Where's the let's see. We want to do requirements none. How do I want to work? Okay, actually no. God damn it. Go away, sticky keys. Rickle. No, have used a body injury crisis act. There we go. So it's pretty much like, yeah, horrific injury gives you a lot. Like, it's a lot worse than you actually think it is. That's the idea behind it. Again, this combos into other things, and that's what I want. I want things to be comboing. So it's like, yeah, I've got my eye gouged out, but now it's a horrific injury. Like, this is a lot. Actually, let's want to use which one? We are on horror. Horror is pretty simple, actually. Horror, mental injury. We'll do just two. Actually, no, not. We'll just do a 1. Weakness is death. There we go. You get 2. We can do 2-2. No, we'll do 2-1. Pretty simple. Nothing too exciting. But that's fine. You don't need to be exciting in this. You just need to be efficient. In your skin. Ah, yes. Rolling in skin. Injury. Injury of crisis points gained. 2. We'll do 3. Actually, we'll do 3 to battle conditions, infect and parasites. Actually, nope. No battle conditions requirements have the parasite status effect. Oh. There we go. Which brings us to injured. We already got injured limb. Lucifer's luck. There we go. I believe that was chaos. Roll. Let's see. Roll only ones for a check. Roll only ones for a check. Immediately succeed at a judgment. Immediately judgment. Let's see. Immediately succeed at a judgment. Roll 1d6. Roll 1d6. Gain the. It would be. We'll do 1 dash. Gain winded. 2 dash. 2 dash. No. 2 dash. Gain exhausted. 3 dash. Gain bleeding 4. 4 dash. And what would be some other one? Let me see. It's actually gain parasites. 5 dash. Let's see. Do I have any? Gain blind. 6 takes 66 HP damage. There we go. Lucifer's luck. Roll only ones. You immediately succeed. However, you're gonna roll a d6. You rolled a 3. Congratulations, you now have bleeding 4. Something happens that now you are just bleeding everywhere. We'll say it's 3 crisis points. It'll be funnier that way. These wounds better not heal. Some do. But it's kind of the idea of, for example, you take like a gouged eye. You no longer have an eye, but you're going to get it replaced. They're going to shove something cheap and simple in your eye socket now. But here's a problem. This is one of the big things. I actually kind of even address it right up here. Your eye has been gouged out. You no longer have that. You cannot actually use gouged eye if both of your eyes have been tore out. Including if so you're just going to end up taking cybernetic destruction. But you can only use these once, remember. You can only use these once. So if you use cybernetic destruction on one of your eyes, you can't use cybernetic destruction again. So it's like, oh, well, it's just not, it's a really bad, thing over time. Some of them are a little bit easier than others to kind of get around. Like Broken Shell, this one's pretty common. This is just kind of a raw bonus. But it's kind of the idea of like, yeah, your armor is hit 0. But, again, you have to remember like this too. Your armor is hit 0. You're in a really bad spot. Here, have a little bit of crisis points. Have just a little bit. Because you're going to have a bad time. Or you're going to end up with like things like broken ribs and are like pretty easy to kind of like say like, yeah, you heal from. But yeah, once you get kind of up here, it's like, yeah, things are getting pretty bad for you. This one's bad. Like how I envision it anyway is winded means you cannot move. You're kind of stuck there. Like you aren't going to be able to move in combat. Exhausted means you don't get any of your MP back. Bleeding is going to be you're going to lose as much HP as just raw HP, depending on whatever your bleeding value is. And it does stack. So if you have bleeding 8, you're going to lose 8 HP around, and it does not go down. Parasites are going to keep your MP at a standard. Pretty much any MP you use, you're not getting back. And anything else you try to do, it's not going to heal. Any heal that happens, it's not going to go. Any MP you would normally restore, it's not going to happen. Blind is you're going to take a pretty big penalty to any of your attacks, and HP damage is HP damage. But generally, like the one I'm still a little bit mixed on is shock. I know how to do shock. It's just doing it. Anything? But yeah, no, you will recover from these. If you manage to live, which is going to be a very difficult thing to come back from, fun fact. Because always remember this very important fact of life. It's very easy to get injured. It's a lot harder to survive. Oh wait, somebody posted that. Give me 1 second. Let me just do W. Letter W. W. I can't even post who. People will judge me saying that I'm a gay furry. Doesn't matter. I like bastard bonds. Lurking Dread, which is going to be, that's mental, yes, mental. Something's out there, something's coming. Oh yeah. Let's see, we're gonna do marked with hate. We want to do, this would be a chaos type. We're going to do 3/2 battle conditions, none requirements, encounter an angel. Actually, encounter an angel, possess the possess the mark of imprint. How I'm going to do the imprints are like These are just things that are now a part of you, like you served time in the pit. This is bad. You don't want to undo this. Being known and judged, naked and afraid. Prisoner has 0 AP, has 0, if I said 0 AP, 0 AP remaining. Armor. Critical punctures, exposed body parts. Apparatus has been damaged. Actually is a no. Have a status effect. Actually, no. Requirement. No. Actually, battle. Actually, requirements have the. Actually, nothing makes sense. Nothing matters. Like, exhausted's really bad because MP is used for so many. So yeah, just be like, yeah, you're just numb now. Like, you get a little bit out of it, but not much. Oh yeah. Ha, loads. Again, it's just one of those things. It's just like, that's just what's going to happen now. When, let's see, we want to do 2-1 paranoia. No battle effect. No battle effects. What we want to do. Be affected by a trap. What would be a good way to? What is? What am I trying to think of here? What am I trying to think of here? Actually, waiting to actually every dark corner is an enemy with ready pounce. Every corner has a trap attached to it. Every moment of every second is misery. Actually, punctured lung. All right. I did learn, however, I did also learn that you can survive a punctured lung. Fun fact, everybody. So in case you ever have your lung punctured, battle conditions, less than half HP. Yay, less than half HP. Requirements, none. What does puncturing a lung sound like? Ah. Mm. There we go. Winded and shocked. We're gonna actually, no, we'll keep it at 2. Punctured lungs are bad. Sounds like you're rattling. Burns to breathe it. No, no. We'll keep it, it hurts. Winded and shock status effect. Yeah, winded is bad because you can't move, and shock is bad because you're gonna die easy. People are wondering, like, why'd you do that? Why'd you make a fucking, you know, gay furry RPG? I mean, like, I got paid for it. Pyrophobia. Ah, yes. How could I forget? Pyrophobia. Status effect. CP gain 4. SP gain 3. Battle conditions none. Requirements. Have the inflamed. Actually, what would you call being set on fire? Being inflamed? Oh, let's Google it. What, being set on fire, term. What's the term for it? Would be inflaming somebody? Ignite, set a light, ablaze. Well, yeah, blaze. I think ablaze works. Yeah, if you want to set yourself on fucking fire, you know, if you get set on fire, you can apply the ablate. You know, you can't just choose to have pyrophobia. Hmm. Oh, that's good. It's really good. Brooklyn Brewery limited release black chocolate stout. Ooh, had a good kick to it. I usually don't get Imperials. Fun fact. I'm usually not a big fan of Imperial stouts. They usually are a little bit more expensive than what they should be. But this one, I'm good for this one. I think this one tastes pretty good. Maybe because I spent like $12 on it, and yeah, actually, no, God, how much was it? This was about $16. They don't. My beer place I like to go to doesn't put any fucking like actual like prices on anything. So it's like, well, shite. Ran through. There we go. Battle conditions. Less than actually HP equal 1 to 5. 1 dash 5. Requirements. Be alive. Description. Gain the shock. Gain the shock. Winded. And bleeding 5 status effect. Now, what does this actually mean? This means that you're gonna die easier. You cannot move, and you're going to die next turn because this blue bleeding 5. And pretty much at the start of your next turn, you're going to die because you're just going to do it. But this is currently the highest grossing, SCP gain you can get. But it's like you getting ran through is like quite literally you're being impaled. And not in a fun way. It's just like you're just being impaled and going to die. Imperial Stout sounds like a horse breed. Yeah, Imperials are usually made a little bit different. I can't remember the exact way. Uh, it's the kind of beer that I like drinking, otherwise known as beer I can chew. Shell shock. If I cannot chew my beer, really, what's the point? 2 battle conditions. Cannot. Actually, battle conditions none. Requirements at use at end of battle. Actually, we'll put no to by self or others. Pretty much like as long as 3 crisis acts are used, you can use this now. Description. Live. Let's see. Shell shock at the end of the. Oh. How do I want to word this? Actually, disposable. Yeah. So you can use shell shock once, with the idea being like, if you're already shell shocked, it's like, yeah, it's like there's no going back kind of thing. Skull crack. All right, there we go. We like skull crack. This is a body injury. Body injury. We're going to have CP gain 5, SP gain 4. Battle conditions less than half HP. Actually, let's see. The world goes dizzy for the let's see. The world goes dizzy for the prisoner. Squashed. I always want to use squash in this. Gain the. We're gonna say gain the. Would be You already have stunned. Gain the stunned and what would be a good one? Would we add shock to this? Pretty much, this is you're fighting. You don't have any head AP armor, and someone goes in and just smacks you right on the fucking skull. You have a skull crack. Your skull is cracked. You're not dead, and you pretty much are just staggered there for a second because you just do not know what's going on. You are completely out of it. And since you are stunned, would you also get the shock? Would it make living harder? That's the question. Would it make living harder? I would say no. I'm gonna say no. But actually, I know what we can do. Gain the stun and exhausted status effect. Because what's that's going to happen is you cannot act, and you're not going to get any MP back. So even after you recover from the stunned condition, you're going to have no MP. And which is like, yeah, okay, it's going to be a lot harder for you to even attempt to survive or even do anything that next round. Like, yeah, you got a fucking skull crack. You're not doing too hot. Words, please. No. No. This is a pony free zone. Use chaos or law sorcery. We want to do it would be a actually no, it would be sorcery technique. So you're not moving anywhere. You're not going to recover any MP either, which is pretty bad, but we're going to reduce this down to like this. So it's not like, yeah, Soulless is like, yeah, this you're not doing too hot. Like something is very wrong. Stigmata. Stigmata is based off the law, and it's pretty much marked with hate, which we're going to do this real fast. So I remember, encounter a demon, possess the Stigmata imprint. Actually, to feast on. To feast on the bones of one with a stigmata is to feast on the most delectable meal. Yeah, so it's kind of like the idea of being like, you have this stigmata, you have something that's, representing, you have like a pretty much divine injury. The problem being is you have a divine injury, you've encountered a demon, and they are like, yeah, I want to fucking eat you. I want to, I don't think you quite understand. I want to devour your bones. And it's like, oh, well, I'm just gonna die. I'm going to die here. And it's like, oh, wow. Wowie zowie. Actually, we can probably do something like fatigue. Judgment. Okay, so we have two more here. Does anybody have any suggestions for horrific injuries? Just, mashallah, take my prime said. Thank you, Shintash. Shintash, thank you very much for continuing to sub. Thank you very much. Oh, someone wants to pay. All right, give me 1 second. Let me just run a 60-second ad. They don't know. Ball crushing. Your balls are crushed. We're not dealing with that kind of thing yet. Let me think. What would be some other good ones? Generally speaking, I can add two. Two more would be ideal. Let's see. Do we have? We could add actually some disposable ones. Like, actually, I know we can have. We'll add two. We'll add two funny. We'll add two. Two of these. We'll add general CP gain. This will be 1 SP gain, 0. Battle conditions. Kill an enemy. It reeks of. It reeks of carrion and reeks of carrion copper copper and hints of sulfur. The prisoner is drenched in the blood of their enemies. Which then is immediately followed by what's the way to word this? Actually, damned type general. Just 2-0. You're not going to get any SP from this. Battle conditions. There's going to be no battle conditions. Requirements. An ally of the prisoner is an ally is killed nearby. A ally of the prisoner is killed nearby. Or fails a congratulation roll. A moment ago they were alive. A moment ago they were alive. There we go. Legion of the Damned. So this is pretty much one of my allies has just been fucking murdered in front of me. I get a little bit of CP. But it's like, oh Jesus, somebody's dead. Yeah, prisoner must be actually prisoner must be near an entity. Must be near an entity that is killed. Yeah, so it's just covered in fucking blood. Not a lot, but you get something out of Legion of the Damned. I thought about doing something with that. It's one of the big things. What I do plan on doing is converting the entire thing to black pages, black and white text, black pages, white text. Because I've been kind of experimenting with this one because this isn't like a really super hardcore game to really actually like dev. So I'm gonna wait till then to start making some of those calls. But yeah, congratulations everybody. We've done every single crisis act. So let's just do a quick count. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 per page, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 pages. So let's do a little bit of math. We have a 56 crisis acts. That sounds about right. 56 unique crisis acts that you can suffer alongside everybody else with. It's great. It's, as they say in the hood, pretty pog. So let's bring up this real fast to kind of get a better idea where we are. Yeah, so we've gotten through the no crisis acts. Session flow, don't really need to worry about this. I will probably add a little section. You're gonna track the shadow of the demon lord against. Probably do something like this at the very end. Then we had to do roles in battle. Yes, we're going to do the battle system now. That took an hour to get through everything, but that's fine. So if we do the also let's do. Luckily, we already pre-explained how to do rolling. Rolling isn't difficult, which is always odd to me. They just don't talk about it till the very end. God, we're done with making characters. What I should do is finish Sage, just do a full rundown on Sage and how to make him work. Let's see. This is going to be like one of the weirder, larger projects simply because there's just a lot of stuff to do. But yeah, we are on currently page 42. Give you an idea of how many pages there are in already. Blood and Mercy. Blood and Mercy. So, combat we want to do. If there was no threat of combat, or if there was no threat to humanity, then the prisoners would quietly serve their time behind bars. However, with the world currently in flames due to the war in heaven, prisoners will frequently find themselves engaging both the heavenly chorus, both the forces of law and chaos. Blood will be spilled. Victory must be achieved. There we go. Prisoner. I can do that because I'm a silly Billy. Would the heavenly host work better? I've been trying to go back and forth on it a little bit because like I don't want to directly say it's just heavenly host. They're a little bit different. I've used the chorus before. That was like one of the idea. But that's like it's one of those things. I've been using law and chaos, so I just want to keep the same flow, you could say. Keep the same vernacular, I believe that. Let's see. How do we want to split this up? Okay, so no, we need to do decide some So yeah, this is give you the extensive combat system. This is the entire combat system. Yes, the combat system, the Crisis Heroine, is technically about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. It is 4 pages. That is the entire combat system. However, to get to this point, it is nearly 30 pages of just suffering. Yeah, welcome to, this is one of the things that I've been, like, perpetually fascinated with. Yeah. Also, for those wondering, this is the Hoft version of the game, so do not worry about that. Let's see. We want to do probably magic and MP recovery. We already talk about MP recovery. Scenes in recovery. We do somewhat talk about scenes in recovery already. We will need to talk about it again, though. So what we're going to do is how do we want to split this up? How are we going to split this up? That's the question. So, first things first, we're going to add in I think we can probably call it like the round structure. Actually, we'll call it the structure of combat. Structure of combat. We'll do the battlefield. Because there's technically going to be 3 ranges. So we're expanding the it's going to be like the vanguard, mid guard, and then a rear guard. Yeah, we're using a little bit. We're using a little bit of good old fashioned mavu lavu in here. Actually, no. How do I want to word this? Yeah, the battlefield. So yeah, we'll do structure of combat. Strictly, then we go right into the battlefield. Kind of like how that's going to be kind of set up. Yeah, Bastard Bonds is fucking good. Like, this is the thing, Ironside. Like, Bastard Bonds is actually super fucking fun. I had a blast fucking playing it. It's a good fucking game. I would say one of the things with Bastard Bonds that makes it a little bit complicated is they don't really explain to you the relationship system very well. Yeah, they don't really explain the they do not explain the relationships very well, and you need to use a fucking mood ring for it. Yeah, you literally have to have a mood ring equipped on an ally to for them to tell you how they're feeling. It's kind of messy. I wish they did a little hard. I would say it does also somewhat run into an issue where you will find a good party composition and you'll kind of just stick with that party forever. Except if one of them gets injured, and then you kind of have to drag somebody else there, but sometimes you need someone with a very particular skill, and then you have to double back, then you have to bring the guy with the right skill and kind of come back. It's kind of annoying in that regard, but I still like it. I still think the 3x3 grid system in Bastard Bonds, genius. Fucking genius. That is a really smart thing to do. And if I do end up doing the game for it, I will implement that. No doubt. Because I think that is a genius fucking idea. And of course, it came out of a fucking... It's one of those things, it came out of a fucking porn game, of course, but it's still it's like Zam. I mean, Hills of Megiddo, something like that. Hills. I have a few ideas of how to do things. I have a very specific idea of yeah, it's really fucking cheap. I will actually check. I will open up my Steam. I will find Bastard Bonds. My first run through, and I know I didn't do everything in the game, mind you. That took me 33 hours. And the game's like $5. It's super cheap. It's super fun. It's a cool game. It has no right to be as good as it is. No right. So I will say, Lefty is best boy, and if anyone says anything different, go to fucking hell. So none of you will have Alamar. My boy Alamar carried me through the entire game with his stupid attack power. He was truly best boy. But yeah, let's see. The idea what I was having for combat would be the idea more along the concept of you have long range, short range, and melee. With kind of the idea being some weapons are just going to be more ideal for taking out enemies at long range because you have 2 advantages. Most of the time you have 2 advantages. 1, you actually have firearms. You have a gun. You have a weapon. You have a Glock. and you can shoot people. And you can actually kind of deal with people at a range while a lot of them need to close the distance on you. And what I was thinking about doing is like you have like kind of a you pretty much have a way of being like, okay, like actually we can probably even call it, instead of melee, we can call this like engagement. So enemies at long range, short range, or engagement. We can do abstract the field. If we abstract the field a little bit, so the idea would be enemies can be at long range, short range, or engagement range. And then it kind of depends on person who is at vanguard is going to be able to, it's going to be in melee. Melee rounds sound natural. Yeah, it's kind of like the idea of being like, your squad is together. And like, you guys are all kind of like running around trying to, you know, get the cover and things. Which is like, okay, there are enemies on your ass currently. And like, some people are going to be able to fight them. Unless I abstract the entire thing, we could go, we could go full abstraction of the battle map. That is another option. Because again, Crisis Heroine doesn't deal with it, so maybe we need to implement something. We could do a impromptu battle map. If we do an impromptu battle map, what do we do though? Unless we do Megiddo. Crisis Heroine has two states of being. You are either in the vanguard or you're the back row. Unless we implement like full on like line combat. Like that's the idea with Crisis Heroine. You are the front or you are in the back. And enemies do not have to worry about that. The idea being though is that an enemy using a ranged attack can attack either side, and an enemy using a melee can only attack the vanguard. So the idea is you have the vanguard up front, they can take some blows, while the range guys in the back are kind of picking them off. If we go with the abstracted battle map, like if we go with a strictly like different one, it would effectively be Necrona's action map. And I call it I've been referring to them as action battle maps for a while because I think it works pretty well. It's just the idea of instead of having a square or having just like vanguard back row, there is location A, B, C, D, and E. If the enemy is in location E and you're in B, you can hit them with a long range attack. But if they are within, if they're in the same zone as you, you're fighting them and they're right on your ass. What would I call it though? It would be an action map. I think action map is the right way to go for this. But would it be the right option, or do we want to simplify it? Here's the question, everyone. This is one of those things where we gotta make a call here. We stick closer to Crisis Heroine's original idea. And more along the idea is you are in a fight, and there's going to be about 3 spaces you can be. It's either you're in your vanguard, you're right in the middle, you're in the middle effectively. I don't know what you would call it, which is you can use short range weapon, short melee, short range weapons. Or you're in the rear guard, which is the idea of like you are in the far back and you can use your longer range weapons. The issue being is if the vanguard falls, everybody moves up 1. So everybody in like everyone who's in the middle is now up front, everyone in the back is now in the mid, which could possibly kind of ruin your build a little bit. So you don't want a lot of people in the rear and you may need people in the front. So it kind of gets a little bit messy in that regard. This is the simple method, mind you. So like let's I'd say there's 2 methods right now. We can either do I'll call it the vanguard method, which is heavy abstraction, simple. We do the action map system. The autism method, the autism system would be more along the idea of it's pretty much just you now need to kind of figure out. Like there's no position or anything. It's kind of like a more you can set up ambushes effectively. Somebody gets on a building and someone gets up over there and now they can fire down. Shinobigami combat. Shinobigami. I love this. I've been wanting to use the fucking velocity map system for so long, and I have no fucking idea where to put it. I've had one idea of where to put it, but it does not fit the game at all, and I would have to rewrite the game around it. I would say you need to have Animu game. How does the velocity system work? How the velocity system works is depending on how fast you're going. Here, let me bring up fucking Crisis Heroine real fast. Not Crisis Heroine. Let me bring up Shinobigami. Do we even have anything like this? Is the kind of the best one we have, isn't it? Do we have a better one of the velocity map? Do we not have anything better than this? That's very sad. We have nothing better than this. I am super sad. So I guess we'll have to use this for example. I wonder if I can open them, make it a little easier. Okay. Oh wait, there, come on, rotate. There we go. So, kind of the idea with the velocity system that I think is really fun, that I really enjoy, is depending on how you can declare yourself at any speed you want. So you could say, I'm going Sonic speed. I'm at 4. If you roll the dice and you get under a 4, you're going to fail the roll. However, you're going to be acting first. You're going to be acting faster than somebody at 3 or 2 or 1. The thing is, this is where things get a little bit interesting. This also doubles as your location on the field. If you say, oh, well, I'm going Sonic speed, and someone's like, I'm ghost walking, you can't actually attack them. They're out of range unless you have a Nimpo that actually allows you to hit that person. Out of that different range. Yeah, it's a very interesting system. And then, mind you also get shit like FTL. Like, if you go FTL, there's a chance no one's going to hit you, but it's just like anything you do, you'll fail. So you may want to get out of there faster, or maybe you just don't feel like getting hurt, so you do that and the combat ends. But most of the starting combat is actually very, how do I want to word this? Very, quick, because I believe it's only 2 rounds you actually fight before the climax. I believe it's 2 rounds, 2 or 3 rounds. Like, you don't actually fight very long in the initial engagements, but that's not the point. I really like Shinobigami. I like a lot of the ideas. Very unique game. Only until you're damaged. I thought there was a very set value. But yeah, no, Shinobigami's a weird game, and I've been meaning to use this idea of the velocity system for a while now, and I have no idea where to put it. I believe you have a time limit. I think it's 2. I want to say it's 2 or 3 rounds. I might be completely wrong. Which is just kind of the idea of being like, you're quickly fighting one another and then you bail because you don't want to reveal too much. I've been wanting to use this particular map for a while, but I have genuinely no idea where to put it to make it feel right. And every time I do it, being like, oh, this would be good here, there's another option that does it better. The option I have, but it would not fit the game in any remote capacity. It's either, okay, yeah. In any remote capacity, I would use this for, ironically enough, Metal Saviors, because that game is all about speed, or any kind of Armored Core adjacent game. I think the velocity system would fit mucho perfect. But yeah, it's one of those games that I would like to use. I just don't know where to put it, and that's usually like that's always kind of a major issue. And duels are pretty much all you're going to be doing unless someone intervenes, and if someone's intervening, they probably want to be a dick anyway, make your life miserable. Because you only have like 5 HP. Like you have, let's see, you actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 HP technically, and trust me, you'll never have enough. You do not have enough HP to survive any long-term combat in Shin Megami. It's your random skills too. That's the best part. You don't get to choose which skills go away. You have to fucking. Yeah, no, it's I initially didn't much care for the ears system. I didn't much care for it to begin with, but over time I grew to appreciate it a little bit more. Mostly because my first introduction to that kind of system was actually the Cancol RPG. And the Cancol RPG is fucking weird. Kid Hentai Collection RPG. Game is that, if you ever want a weird game, it's the Hentai Collection one. There's bizarre adventure, to say the least. And there's actually an extensive like Hentai Collection RPG like community. It's just it's bizarre. That was my first introduction to it. But after I kind of reading Shin Megami, after reading it was Lost did it. I think Lost did a really fun version of it. I think that's a really good game. After I saw some of those, I grew to appreciate it a little bit more. There's another one that I've been meaning to go over. It's if I can ever find the RAWs for it, I would love to do Card Ranker. The fucking playing card RPG where all your skills are just how your deck is set up. I saw that. I'm like, this is super stupid, and it would be perfect. Oh no, you're taking damage because I killed your combo. Yeah, it's. Once I saw that, I'm like, yes, Card Ranker, I need you in my life. But here in the States, we'll never see Card Ranker because we can't have nice things. But, as they say, it's all good in the hood. See, let's see. It's yeah. So actually, let's go with the Vanguard method. I think the Vanguard method's going to be more attuned to what Crisis Heroine's about. Because we want to because again, you got to remember, Crisis Center is not necessarily supposed to be an independent project. It is the belief that Crisis Heroine and in turn the Crisis system can be converted effectively into another game, which so far I'm feeling pretty confident about. Like I'd say the hardest part about converting anything with the Crisis system is you need to hand make every Crisis act. You need to hand make all the equipment. There's a lot of like. You need to have very certain things and you can tie it to it, but like generally speaking, it works pretty fine. I would say certain games, like how do I want to word this? You're not going to be playing Gundam with this game. You're going to be playing Votoms. You need to have the idea of being very disposable. And that's going to be kind of like in my GM section for this game being like, your characters are disposable. You should not get attached to them. And you should want to have them have terrible, terrible, awful things to happen to them. Because they're bad people. And you are doing this because you are bad people. I think generally speaking, it works pretty well in that regard. I would see like the hardest part to do this would be making like a long-term character, like a character that lasts a long time. That could be a little bit complicated, in my opinion. That you could probably do a bit of finagling and make it like a one-shot. I wouldn't say one-shot adjacent, but like one-shot available system. Probably reducing the amount of crisis acts down to a very certain amount of them. And from there, it's like you get 5 crisis acts, and you have, but the value's a little bit higher, and you just need to just like do a gauntlet or something like that. The idea is not necessarily survival. The idea is having terrible things happen to you because you chose to do it. Probably one of the other games that you could do in this would be a Vodham's game, honestly, or I can't believe it's not Vodham's kind of thing. Wow, I can't believe it's not, it's Bottoms. That's a, yeah, maybe not. I'm thinking Iron might appreciate Bottoms too much. It's funny because because Iron's our local gay. Sounds terrible to say, but let's see. Iron our local twink. Structure of combat, we move directly into the battlefield, then move on to, if referencing this, at that point, pretty much what we're going to be doing is like this section right here is going to be the structure of combat. This is the structure of combat right here. We then immediately move, then it's like after we kind of explain, if we take out actually no, we do we'll call this the we'll do squad positions, which just be the idea of it's just the Vanguard method. We'll just do that because then it's like, this is how combat's going to be structured. Combat start, round start, turn order. And then you start taking your character's turns, squad positions, then we immediately move on to actions, which is going to be character turn, attack with weapon, use spell, blah, 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 do all of these, use an auxiliary action, which are pretty standard stuff. But then we talk about reactions. You can always, and then we move directly on to AP. After actions, we then go on to damage and capitulation. Damage and capitulation, which is pretty simple. And then we talk about traps a little, then we do traps a little bit. Then we can probably do something like, it wouldn't be AP recovery, it would be, we'll call it like rest and relaxation, which would be AP recovery plus HP recovery. So rest and relaxation is effectively going to be this. But then we talk about status effects. Then we do status effects, and then we actually no, we do damn. Yeah, then it would move on to we won't really need to talk about the capitulation roll, the SP roll here. That's not really, actually we can talk about it. Would be the sin roll, it would be the SP roll, SP rolls. But instead of being that, it's going to be SP rolls, it's going to be like that's going to be stop losing your shit roll. Like, that's going to be, like, your ability to power through something. Just don't lose your shit. Get your shit together. Like, we need to, like... Actually, you know what we can call it? We can get what's called the get your shit together roll. Then we do the crisis, and then we talk about crisis points, and then we talk about Actually, we're not going to do damage too much. We're just going to talk about damage and capitulation together. We're talking about damage and capitulation together. We do something like this instead. We talk about actions, and we move directly into how traps work. Then we do damage capitulation, what rest and relaxation is going to look like, your status effects, get your shit together roll, and then crisis roll. And then crisis. Then we go directly to advancement. Okay. Alright. Easy enough to do. Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. Did they send me daughters when I asked for sons? Da 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 da. Disney's going to break my knees. Good old Disney. There we go. See, that's what I should do. Just get completely shit-faced one day and do karaoke, this shitty karaoke. It'll be great. Just absolute fucking slosh. I'll be a real VTuber, Dad. Just sing the entire Guilty Gear soundtrack completely fucked up. Let's get this started. Combat structure. When the prisoners encounter an enemy force, they'll be forced to act. This is let's see how to. When the prisoners encounter an enemy force, they will be forced to act. During the they will be acts. Combat begin. A combat encounter counts as a single scene. For purpose of let's see. Combat encounter counts as a single scene for the purpose of effects. And abilities. And actually certain ability, actually each combat, actually no, we address first. Combat is broken down into turns and round. Turns and round. A turn is a single entity, is a single actor. Single actors actions they can perform, while a round is every actor's turn combined. At the end of a round, multiple effects may register. All effects will take place, and it will then move on to the next round. How do we want to do this now? We have to address the IV rule. Actually, no. Okay. We'll do the initiative roll. We'll move on to the next round. At the start of every round. At the start of every round, the prisoners and their enemies will restore all MP they have spent if they are able to. Okay, let's do Okay, and the initiative roll. Do we need to do? Okay. Actually, at the start of every round, at the start of every round, each prisoner, and enemy will roll 2d6 plus IV. Actually, no. No, it's still actually. Wait a second. It's not even a 2d6 roll. At the start of every initiative. Oh, yeah. Mama. Let's see. So initiative value. Turn order is decided by descending IV with the highest value go. In the case of ties, the turn will prioritize the prisoner. For multiple ties, the order is follows. It's going to be prisoners, prisoner ally. It would be prisoner allies, demons, angels, demon angel humans. Chaos cultists, demon cultists. Actually, no, that's angels, demons, angels, chaos cultists, law cultists. Pretty much, human. Standard. Actually, law cultists, and then we do standard. So, prisoners, PCs. I should say prisoners. PC, prisoner allies, demons, angels, chaos cultists, law cultists, then standard humans. You are fighting, for example, we want to make this a very basic example. You are fighting 3 chaos cultists and a demon. You have it's IV4. The chaos cultists might have IV4, and the demon has IV4. Let's say all of these guys just have the same initiative value. The demon will act first, then the cultists, regardless of what it is. But if you end up in a terrible situation where it's like you have a demon, an angel, 2 chaos cultists, 2 law cultists, the exact order would be demon, angel, chaos cult, law cult. That would be the exact order. But more accurately, it would be the prisoners, demon, angel, cult, chaos cult, law cult. Generally speaking, you're only really going to be encountering maybe one. You're like everything all at once. That's not going to happen. But just in case that does occur, that's how we're going to be addressing it. Initiative value. We want to do escape and pursuit. At the start of the round, a side may opt to attempt to flee. If they are attempting to flee, they will forfeit their actions and be unable to. Let's say they'll forfeit their action. If they are attempting to flee, they will forfeit their actions and be unable to act. However, they will be actually unable to act. They will escape. They will escape if there is no reaction. Actually, no. During this time, a full round will pass, allowing the remaining side to attack the fleeing side with no attack the fleeing side. However, if the other side, let's see, the side which stands firm may choose to undergo a pursuit. The fleeing party will need to make an agility roll. They will both pursuit. Both sides will make an opposed agility judgment. Both sides will make an opposed agility judgment. One side opposed agility judgment. Any of the fleeing force who fails against the highest pursuer will be stuck and caught. Stuck and caught. At this time, the fleeing party may choose to return to assist or continue running. The general idea is that if you can choose, I am going to flee, that's you turning your back and running. You're saying, okay, I'm going to leave now. We're going to just leave. You have a full free round to just unload on these fucking guys. Tactic fleeing side. Alternatively, the side which stands firm may choose to undergo pursuit. You pretty much have the opportunity, like they're turning tail and running. You get a full free round of attacks. You may be able to down a few of them. You may be able to stop a few of them. It's pretty much free attacks. Or you can say, we're going to pursue. We're both going to make this, we're both going to be making opposed agility judgments effectively. And if any of your side loses, if any of our side gets higher than any of yours, they will get stuck. They will be pretty much drawn back into the fight. It's time to go again. If they continue, then anyone who doesn't, they can just leave. They're like, they fucked off. You've pretty much caught a few people. They're going to try to fight, or they may try to flee again. But generally speaking, they're not going to have. Why do you and Pippa always stream at the same time? I was listening to both and giving me an acute schizophrenia. If I'm correct, here's the thing, Mixture Salt. If I'm correct, Pippa is in the South. The way that she speaks sometimes, she has mentioned, I believe she's down south. And at this point, she would be, let's see, if she just started streaming about 8, it would be about 8 o'clock. Yeah, that would be prime streaming hours for her. She usually does later streams, though. So that would be my guess, is either it's 7 o'clock-ish for her, or it's going to be about 8 o'clock-ish for her. And so it would be about prime streaming hours. I have a bad tendency of streaming exactly when Ira streams. So I don't know why you would be listening to me and Pippa, though. We have very different energy. I'm very calm and relaxed. Pippa is not. I like Pippa, though I will say Pippa has this bad tendency of being a little bit overexcited at points. And sometimes it devolves into screaming. And it's like, okay, let's bring him back a few steps. Her interview, I like her interviews. She did one interview with the guy who had that failed VTuber age. That was fascinating. It was a really good watch. Any of you guys get curious, it's I can't remember what the exact video was. He did an interview with a fucking guy with Uwu TV. That was it. He interviewed the guy, and Jesus, the fucking feet. Yeah, the feet pics. Yeah, her schizophrenic meltdown over there. That was peak content right there. Peak content. I mean, I've told everybody, you know, hey, if I get 1,000 subscribers on fucking YouTube by the end of the year, I'll do feet pics. So get those bots ready. Come on, guys. See, I just get to bribe people with my feet now. Being like, hey, again, Pippa's set a precedent. That's the fun part. She's set a precedent. And now the foot chads will do their best to get as many VTuber feet as possible. I can respect them. You know, foot guys, I don't like foot guys. They're a little bit odd, but I mean, I can respect the hustle of wanting VTuber feet. Leah almost, nah, that's too close. Again, hands and feet, that would be like, if I was one of their fucking managers, you know, it was like, again, it would be like fucking, I would just be sitting there being like, you stupid fucker, you stupid bitch. You are not revealing anything more than toesy woesies and fingy wingies. Anything more than that, and I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like, we are going on extreme damage control at that point. Like, yeah, no. I would be a great VTuber manager. Just become a gaslight gatekeep girl boss. I keep wondering what the fuck a VTuber manager actually does. That has been my fascination for a while now. Like, what do they do? Do they just like manage chat? Is that literally it? Or is there something more that I'm missing? Like, it's not like it's something you could just like Google being like, what makes a good VTuber manager? There's nothing of that, because there's like, such a small fucking industry. Like, relatively speaking, there's a lot of money put into it, but there's like very little. Because you get like one of the major companies is like fucking VShojo, and VShojo has no upper management. Which I still don't know how they make money. I don't know how VShojo makes money. Yeah, is that legitimately it? They're just wranglers. Like, I would be great at wrangling people. See, because I just got all this marketing shit that I would do. I mean, it's like, all right, we're doing this, this, and this. Let's do this. That'd be easy. Real simple, real easy. But like, some managers have like different like things associated with them. Like, some are like a lot more important, some are a lot less important. It depends on the company too, but really the only big companies people tend to talk about are Hololive and Niji. But both of them are probably, as a manager, your job is a lot different than, say, FaZe Connect. Sakana, hire me, man. Fishman, Fish bro, my brother in Christ, my Canadian brother in Christ, please hire me. Let me manage those fuck-ups. I can do it. I will stop the Yab Rabbit. See, that's even better, because while I may look as a cute, adorable little mascot figure in the corner there, I'm actually built like a fucking tank. I'm terrifying. And people have told me to my face repeatedly, Notepad, you're scary. Like, you're very scary. And then I like talk to them and they're like, oh, you're not very scary at all. But like, yeah, you're just horrifying and I'm scared to even like talk to you. I'm like, damn. Like, well, shit, man. Like, which Bilebed character? That's the question. You know, it's, again, I've had people be like physically intimidated by me because I'm just a big guy, and I do have an unfortunate result of like, I would call it like a resting bitch face, but I have like a resting, like, I am on like the verge of losing my fucking marble. I will hurt people. And like, then people look at me, it's bad because people look at me being this like, oh man, he's really scary. And then I like speak for more than 5 seconds. They're like, oh, he's just a dumbass. Like, he's just a goober. And I'm like, yes, I am just a. Would you like me to inform you about fucking Israeli war crimes or something. You know, yeah. I'm not racist, however. I don't like that. There's a pingy wingy. There's a pingin' game designer. That's a fucking broad question. The question in in question, I guess. What do games with classes and levels offer over games without classes or levels? I just replied with classes and levels because I'm a fucking monster. Yeah, no. To address this on stream, because I can do this, classes and levels and things like that do something really powerful. It allows you to structure things around. Make sure so you make a good make a good thing there. The idea of structure is actually a really big important thing. Because the problem is, infinite anything. Infinite, you can do whatever the fuck you want. What's going to happen is people are going to do two things. People are either going to build the most efficient thing, or people are going to build the wrong thing. You have a million options, you're going to have no options. So you kind of need to the thing with like classes and things like that, it allows you to say, I'm playing a fighter. You know what a fighter's going to do. Fighter's going to stand up there and bonk people. We're going to bonk people with a big fucking sword and it's going to go bonk, bonk, bonk. No, nothing you can do as a fighter will cripple you. Because whatever you do, you will be a fighter and you will fight. Unless you deliberately go out of your way to fuck something up. Yeah, it's one of those things like, unless you go deliberately out of your way to fuck something up, classes and things like that are really hard. Levels also offer you a very distinct advantage when it comes to things. And I don't think people quite understand that when I talk about sometimes like risk reward. But like, people will do shit for XP. People will do a lot of things for XP. And like, oh, well, I want to make something like I want to get stronger. People really like that. It appeals to that very primal monkey brain, which I need to, next year I will be doing the brain video finally. I've been meaning to do this one for fucking ever. But the brain video is going to be very simple. Every single human being's got 4 different brains. They've got primal monkey brain, cold-blooded lizard brain, philosopher brain, and chaos brain. Monkey brain just wants the numbers to go higher. They do not give a shit about anything else. They see a 5 and it goes to a 6, it's better. They're the ones who look at the greatsword and be like, oh my god, it does 2d6 damage, not the 1d6 damage. But that's the first thing you will always see. That is an important factor in anything. You will always see number bigger, better. Number go down faster, better. Because I've done more damage, I've done more anything. Lizard brain, on the other hand, is something a little bit more complicated. That one's thinking raw efficiency. The lizard brain thinks of raw mechanical efficiency. I know for a fact that I can deal minimum 5 damage this turn. Minimum, I will do 5 damage. If I combine all these bonuses together, I know for a fact that I will have a 60% chance to hit with this, this, and this. That means I can safely and confidently put the poison thing on there and do more damage. And like, they're the ones calculating all these really efficient things out. They're the problem children who want to power game. Because people are naturally drawn to power gaming. Because the bigger the numbers, the bigger the thing, and the more efficient things can get, people see patterns. And people like patterns. People like being able to know that, wait a second, if I do this, this, and this, technically I get 6 spells a turn, and I can do all these crazy shit that nobody else is. I have a friend who is very lizard brain, and he will try to find like the most detailed shit to break the game. And Yeah, well, TL20 means every enemy will have an adamantine axe. Yeah. That's one of those things, like, Monkey Brain doesn't think like that. That's the idea. Monkey Brain does not understand the consequences of actions. Lizard Brain understands consequences of actions, but sometimes gets hyper fixated on a build. That's usually like one of the biggest issues that you see with lizard brains, is that like they have a build, and sometimes the build is dumb or can be countered and they just didn't see it. Anytime you see anybody being like, oh, look at it, look guys, I can dual wield shields and get a gorillion bonuses and never die. That's a lizard brain talking, and they've seen the fact that you can dual wield shields and get an insane bonus to your health or what, your damage, or, your protection or whatever, and never die. But the problem is they're also fucking stupid and realize that they can't attack anybody anymore. That's the problem when it boils down to lizard brains. They get hyperfixated. And that hyperfixation can be good or very bad depending on kind of like what they find. Philosopher brain, though, is both the stupidest and the strongest. I am going to do something high-minded. I'm playing a very certain character. I want to play this character. I want to play this character. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be like this. And they will say, I'm going to play a fencer. My character has a fencing sword and is going to fence people. He will base his entire everything around being a fencer. And because he is a fencer, even if the game does not promote that, even if he is punished for it, it doesn't matter, because he's a fencer. And one of those issues with philosophers is that they will get hyper-fixated on the character and not necessarily, they'll neglect mechanics. And to the point where it'll happen with a lot of the time, when you have like a really like, a guy who gets really fixated on like his character or whatever, sometimes they will do things that are just completely inefficient. And you look at it being like, why did you take the fencing talent here? Because the fencing talent is objectively worse than this other one, which does the same thing. Well, because it's a fencer. It doesn't matter that it's fencing. And it's like, ah, shit. Philosopher brains fucking adore. The AI does have pathfinding. Cool Ironside, it does have pathfinding. There's a button you need to use called Call Your Party Together. You have to go find him, call your party together, and you're going to be hitting that button through any really complicated area. Yeah, you have to keep them together. That is one thing, and that's actually in my own review of the game, I did cite that, being like, the AI is fucking stupid, because they will get stuck on shit. And you need to be very diligent with them sometimes. And if you notice somebody's kind of got stuck behind something, you pick them up and you need to keep it on there. Open areas, they do great in. Closed areas, not so much. Especially caves. They do not like caves or forests or anything like that, because they will get stuck in like little crevices. Because that's what happens, is that it's trying to just pathfind to you directly, the shortest possible. That's all it's trying to do. It doesn't register there's walls, though. Yeah, so it's like you have to be close to them, and you just remember, you're the focal point. But, your character is the focal point, and they will attempt to take the fastest way to you, even through a wall. So there's a little bit of wrangling you have to do there. That's like the one fault that I will always say about Bastard Ball. The pathfinding is god off. But back on my rant there. The final brain is something hellish, something impossible, something the worst goddamn thing that you can deal with, and that's Chaos Brain. You want to know why it's terrible, why it's bad, why it's the worst thing ever? Because you cannot control Chaos Brain. You cannot control it. There's no way as a game designer you can manipulate it. Because Monkey Brain, you make the numbers go up. You have a nice, you clearly issue the numbers where everything is, and everybody's happy. Lizard Brain, you give them any builds or anything like that you kind of pre-plan for, so they're going to see them first, they're going to be able to kind of manipulate things better, and they're now having more fun because they're kind of being rewarded. You know, it's that dopamine going to click it for them. Philosopher, make those thematic builds either rewarded or kind of the only thing you can do. Apocalypse Worlds and a lot of its derivatives really appeal to philosophers because they're going to be having this high-minded discussion, and the game rewards them for playing a very certain kind of character. Chaos Brains, though, you cannot do jack shit, because you want to know what Chaos Brain says? I don't like it. I don't like sci-fi stuff, so regardless of what you do, nothing will make it better, and they just won't like it. Or they'll love something, even if it's terrible. The problem with Chaos is that it's just that raw me like, me don't like. It's hard to influence, it's hard to get anything there. People do not recognize the Chaos Brain until it's kind of too late, or you don't think about it as much, but there's going to be people who immediately say, hey, I like sci-fi games. I love sci-fi games. I think they're more fun than anything else. And if you present to them a fantasy full-on elves and dragons and shit, they're not going to be as enthused as if you present them a sci-fi game. That sci-fi game is, they're going to have a very specific idea, and they're going to have a lot more fun with it, simply because that's something they like. Hey, I love giant robots. Doesn't matter what kind of game you set in front of them, as long as it has giant robots or the ability to play giant robots, they're going to enjoy it more. And I say it's hard to kind of control because you sometimes don't know until they've been presented with it. And sometimes previous experience influences ideas that sometimes you may not know about, or they just won't tell you because it's like, well, I don't like sci-fi, but my friends are playing, so I'm going to enjoy it. I just don't like them. Yeah, just don't like them. Simple as. And that's the hard part with Chaos Brain, is that there's legitimately no way to control it. Unless you've, like, cultivated players. Sounds kind of silly to say, but, like, unless you have legitimately, like, cultivated a certain number of players, of characters, you know, unless, like, you definitely know what your players like or what they like. But yeah, that is my comprehensive thing I was going to do a full video on. I know how to do it. It's just doing it. 8 elves, 8 dwarves, 8 magic, love my mecha, love my android, love my aliens. Simple as. Pretty much. And again, some people are just going to be like that. It's the guy who, like, runs exclusively Star Wars games and being like, okay, what game are we going to... I think we should use Star Wars for this. Like, oh... Like, I had one friend who was like, you can run every game, any type of game you want, you can run in Mutants and Masterminds. It doesn't matter. You just played in Mutant Masterminds. And I was like, but wouldn't there be better in just Mutants and Masterminds? Again, like, you have to do long-term cultivation to change fucking that Chaos Brain. Because, like, I look at my shelf here, there are going to be people who immediately say, oh, when you say, oh, I want to play the Goblin Slayer RPG. And you could cite, it has really good mechanics. It's a pretty solid, there's a lot of options here. There's a huge amount of lore to draw upon. And it's simple enough where you can just scrape away all the lore and still have a fun game. There's going to be someone who looks at it and says, Goblin Slayer? No Goblin Slayer. We don't want it. Well, why not? Because it's Goblin Slayer. We don't want to get gobbed. Oh. It's like, oh, well, I mean, yes, that does make sense. And honestly, that's one of the big reasons why you see so many 5e hacks, is because it's been cultivated into people's minds to be, this is the game. This is the world's greatest role-playing game. It's the world's greatest roleplay. It is the world. That's what that's what Wizards has done. It's fucking malicious, but their marketing department, masterclass. Because what they've done is gaslit the entire fucking industry into holding 5e up to such a standard that it's become its own thing. Granted, Wizards is fucking with the OGL right now. Yeah. That is... Generally, it's too early, so I don't want to do like a video or anything on it and kind of like talking about the OGL a little bit, because it's a fascinating subject to talk about, but it's kind of like tomorrow it can change. That's one of the problems. Tomorrow it can and it will change, and there's no good way of saying it. I know, I can tell you what that's for, though. I can tell you what's that for right now. The 750,000K in the future. It's, what that is, yeah, it's shit like Critical Role. It's shit like, it's, because you get things like Roll20, for example. Roll20 hosts D&D stuff. They use the OGL. That right there is already a very fascinating issue. And then it's going to be, yeah, like, but that's the problem. Mercer can't swap. That's the beautiful disaster area. Mercer can't swap. Because what's he going to fucking swap to? There are he's sworn himself so much to 5e, and I don't think his players could understand another system unless they like do like a fucking, yeah, it would be Pathfinder 2e. It would be something like that. Which, by the way, the entire Pathfinder thing is going to get a lot more complicated, because technically Pathfinder is just the D20 that, but it's also kind of borrows from the OGL. That's going to be a mess, by the way. Oh, it'll be like Pathfinder 2e. Or, if you want to be really malicious. See, here's the beautiful thing. Completely off topic, but this is the beautiful thing. Because what's going to happen is 2024, the convergence occurs. We either are, as I've said before, we have two options here, really. People reward them and get it. It's going to be their special thing. Wizards wins. We all lose. The industry is fucked. Wizards is punished for it pretty heavily. We enter a new 4e era where anything goes. The dragon has been cast down. Now's the time to kind of act. But what I think is going to happen when we hit that, because you want to know what really spiked in popularity after the 4e fiasco? Pathfinder 3.5 content, D20 games. What I have a strange, and it's that everyday heroes thing. We talked about it previously, but like everyday heroes, I think is the precursor to, well, technically, this isn't the OGL. Technically, it isn't. This is our 5e hack that we've put together. It's not 5e anymore. It's not Dungeons and Dragons. It's going to be like, fuck, what would you call it? It'll be something like, I don't know, Dragons of Dreadmire or whatever. It's clearly just D&D, but it's legally distinct 5e, with just enough to change it that you can't really cite the OGL anymore. Because remember, you cannot copyright the idea of an ability score. You can't copyright that. You can't copyright the idea of rolling a d20. You can't copyright that. You can always copyright proper names, and you can copyright basic concepts. Not basic concepts, but you can copyright things like names and words. But there's only so much you can prove. Like, oh, well, they stole 5e, being like, they just wrote roll a d20. That's not gonna, you will be laughed out of fucking court. Did they copyright the term d20? No. Here's the secret. They copyrighted the term d20 in regards to naming. A very specific thing, by the way. That's the secret there. You can call something, for example, like, it's going to be, you know, I can't call my game like D20, you know, D20 Heroes or whatever. I can't do that. But I can call it, you know, Heroes and use a D20, it's just fine. Like, it's a very, like, copyright, you can extend copyright to very particular things. Because there's probably a copyright for D20 soap. There's probably a copyright out there that uses the term D20 for soap. Or a fucking weird publishing brand or something based in Albania or something. It's the D20 Publishing. We publish sports, like men's sports goods and shit like that. Like, you can do that just fine. It's a very specific thing in like the gaming sphere. They probably did it, but like, you can get around it. You can get around it because what's going to happen now? See, the best part is what's going to happen there is that someone's going to make, again, you get like the Everyday Heroes thing. They have their own special little SRD now. Then, this is where things get really fucky. You're going to have somebody else put out their thing with their own SRD. It's not 5e, though. It's legally distinct 5e. Somebody else, however, puts out their own version, and we'll have OSR 5e. And the beautiful thing is, none of these fucking people are going to be able to work together properly. You may say, oh, you know, Gnells, Gnoblins, Gnowlbears. No. You can't copyright the term elf. You can't copyright the term goblin. Owlbears, yes. You can copyright that term, and it is copyrighted. However, oh, it's a hawk cougar. Oh no, it's a fucking, I don't know, it's a eagle boar. Fine, fuck it. No one, what? Well, that's like it's like the beholders, technically. Beholders are a copywritten term. Eye monsters are owl sharks. Yeah, shit like that. Doesn't fucking matter. You can get away with shit like that. Like, you won't have, mind flayers, for example. You will never have mind flayers. But you can have something legally distinctive. And what's going to happen, my theory would be, is that each of these, the Everyday Heroes book, you're going to have, you know, the mythical 5e OSR game, you're going to have, like, this legally distinct 5e. Every single one of these is going to have a document somewhere saying converting 5e content, converting 5e content, converting 5e content. None of it'll matter. And you want to know what? It'll be great. But that's suggesting the convergence doesn't happen and we all lose. That is a very distinct and very unfortunate likelihood. What I mean by all lose is Wizards of the Coast is completely rewarded for it. If Wizards is completely rewarded for it, and people buy into the one, you know, the one D&D thing, people buy the content, people do it, then it's over. It's over. You lose before you begin. Because what's going to happen then is there's going to be so many people already sworn to it that the hobby is going to fracture into two teams, effectively. You're going to have corpos and you're going to have indies. The indie market will never get above any remote amount of money. It's always going to be the corporate side, and everybody is going to adopt something similar. You know, it's going to be the 2D20 fucking, it's going to be 1D20 or whatever, and it's like 2D20 or whatever the fuck it's going to be. It's going to be a website, it's going to be an SRD, it's going to be its own thing. And oh wow, you have to buy into it. And if you want to get this, you got to buy, because people are going to do it. Because you want to play Dune, don't you? You want to play the new Dune game. So you're going to do that to maximize their profit. I can hope, I can pray that Wizards just fucks it up. But there is so much 5e cultism. Like, I don't think people quite understand. There's so much fucking 5e cultism. And how people, like, weirdly regard 5e to be, like, this fucking masterclass of gaming. Being like, I came out my queer identity with 5e, or I've only played 5e and every other game can be played in 5e. It's like, the fuck are you doing? What the fuck? 5e isn't your life. There's other games than 5e. And it's because they want to mold it into a fucking lifestyle brand. That's what you gotta do. That's the money. Lifestyle brands. They fucking print money, man. Yeah, it's... Nobody wins. Let's just say that. Nobody wins at this rate. Because the funny thing is, people aren't like... This is the bizarre thing. People aren't like, oh, well, this is fucking insane. Maybe we should play other games. Like, maybe we should play other games or something. No, they're like, we'll just continue playing 5e. Like, what? What? That's kind of the issue. Yeah, 5e is tabletop RPGs. To a lot of people, yeah, they've never heard of other games. No. You know I can't do that, Ironside. You know I can't say Noam Chomsky on stream. The level of cultish dedication to these people. Well, I think one of the issues is a lot of these guys came into it and got real popular. And because again, the people who are like most adamantly against things are guys who are like, oh, well, I make YouTube videos on 5e content. Oh, I make this on 5e content. My business is 5e content. Like, that's the issue. I wish I could automate. Combat gets a lot better about, like, mid-game. Early game, it's a little rough, but it's fun. But yeah, no, I will say this on your side, it's not just just have sex with men, ha ha ha. No, it's like an RPG, and it's a very good one. It's a full-on legit RPG. Yeah, it's like people have made their entire life and their entire career around the basic idea of just making 5e do something. Because that's all they know, and that's all Wizards wants them to know. That's a very important factor, too, is like, Wizards doesn't want you playing... Yeah, it's... the thing is, early Bastard Bonds combat has the issue of you just need to kind of run up there, you need to do your attacks. Really what you need to do, have you learned about doing the surge attacks and stuff to build your risk bar and things like that, where they just don't fucking teach you? They poorly teach you how to use that. You really need to do shit like that. Later on, when you start unlocking different abilities and different equipment, those things kind of pick up, but like, the early game is rough because they want to they want to show you how to play every single thing. Tank and a mage, let me guess, you have Shapiro? No, you don't have Shapiro already. Like people don't understand how weird the adventuring day is to a wider game series context. Yeah. Yeah, it's people don't understand like the adventuring day because Gina. A second, is this who I think it is? Oh wow. You got her quick. Yeah, you are incredibly fragile early game. And the thing is, they don't teach you how to do the surge combat system very well. Yeah, no, you started off with Virginia. Okay. You will get, the second you get out of prison, you will find Bato quickly. Bato's another one. He is primarily, he'll be with you for the early game. That's going to be your third character. Bato is pretty decent. The thing with him is that he has really shitty attack early on, but he's really fucking strong, so you have to supplement everything with him. Yeah, it's well, the thing is 5e is shifted away from like the mud and blood event, because here's the weird thing. Like if you actually read 5e, like this is the thing. If you actually honest to God read 5e and like honestly read some of the things that they put out, you were supposed to play it like old D&D. That's how the game is built around. And it's like, yeah, don't let them rest. Don't let them do these things. Do not let them have these like long rests, because that's not how the game is built around. The game is built around, because it's Sacred Cow, mind you, it's built around different powers, different, slowly doing it. But here's the beautiful thing, Link. Here's the beautiful thing. Nobody else has read the game either. I am mystified by sometimes, because you want to know a game that solved all of these issues, every single one of the issues people had, like, oh well, I want the, I don't like HP, I don't like this, I don't want to have all this, I don't want to do all these things, oh my goodness, I don't want all these. You want to know a game that did that? 4E. 4E did it. 4E had active powers, they had daily powers, they had, encounter powers, they had, all these different little powers and stuff. Because that was the fucking issue with 3.5, is that people were doing the 10-minute adventuring days, because that was when you could use all your toys per combat. So 5e, so 4, again, you gotta remember, 4E was not perfect, mind you. 4E had a lot of problems, mostly in the numbers department. But what 4E did not have a problem with was what people wanted, because 4E was every single thing people wanted from D&D. The problem was it was every single thing they wanted from D&D, and people don't want to have fun. People hate fun. And they want to be able to have multiple encounters per session. But the problem is, it's kind of like the idea of being like, oh, well, nobody wants too many sacred cows, because those sacred cows are what dragged things down. And that's why I was like 5e. That's why 5e feels kind of weird, because they're trying to have their cake and eat it for so long that right now it kind of feels like a hectic mess. It's a mess. I used to play Temple of Elemental Evil. Yeah. Let's see. What do you want to do? See, when combat breaks. Let's see, when combat breaks. When combat breaks out, each of the prisoners will assign themselves in the vanguard. I don't know what we call the middle. I guess center or rear guard position. Position in rear guard position. Those in the vanguard position. Those in the vanguard position will take front and center. Or let's see. Those in the vanguard position are front and center. Able to take a hit and deal one back. The center position is ideal. Center position can use both long and short range weapons to deal with enemies. While the rear guard is the safest, but can only use long weapons. Long range weapons to deal with enemies. When yeah, so this is kind of the basic idea of how we're breaking it out. If the prisoners ambush enemy, actually enemies will have when a position has no allies or has no actor in it, when a position has no actor in it, then all behind it will quote move up one position. Example, if there is no vanguard, then the center will become the vanguard position, while the rear guard will be put in the center. Actually, no, we want to do squad position, ambush, and distance again. And the rear guard will be put in the center. If either the prisoners or enemies ambush the other side, there is either they actually, if they are ambush the other side, the locations of the enemies, location of the ambush party will be randomized. 1, 2 vanguard, 3, 4 center, 5, 6 rear guard, forcing them to move around or reorient themselves. If they are surrounded, then there is only the vanguard and center position. As the rear guard is now under threat of melee attacks. So kind of the idea is you have the three spaces. You have your front, you have your vanguard, your center, and your rear guard. Normally, your rear guard is going to be in the back. However, if you're surrounded, you really only have the vanguard and the center. Because what's going to happen is the vanguard is going to stand in a circle and is going to be trying to defend everybody, while people in the center are, that's kind of the people who are vaguely covered by both sides. So you kind of want to put your mages in the middle in case you do get surrounded. You can't eat your cake and fuck it too, trying to just make your bite tick off. Yeah, no, it's that. if you play a certain way, that's how it goes. But sometimes it's people don't. You'd be amazed the number of people who just don't play it the way you're supposed to. Or I mean that's why I remember, like, I would say about a year ago now, year or two ago now, there was all these like combatless tabletop like 5e adventures. Like, oh, you need no combat in this. And it's like, but why? Like, that defeats the entire purpose. Like, this is a game about going down and beating the ever-loving shit out of goblins to eat them. Like like that's the entire idea. It's about going into a dungeon to beat goblins to death to eat, to either eat them or steal their shit. Like, that's the entire point. Like, there's nothing really too complex behind it. And you would be amazed the number of people who just fight tooth and fucking nail, being like, oh, well, that's not how D&D, that's not D&D. Oh, I can make D&D whatever I want. Being like, the three pillars of D&D is combat, the strongest pillar, exploration, the second pillar, and everything fucking else, which is the weakest. It's not supposed to do anything. Well, we're playing a social-only campaign. Well, I guess I'm going to be playing a fucking bard then. Like, you're like, well, why would you just play a bard? You're supposed to be, like, because charisma checks. There's a single attribute for this shit. Oh, well, I need you to make a strength check. Well, thankfully we have Unk the fucking tank over here who's useless in every other situation. But he's got a decent strength, so hey, we're fucking good. Let's see. If the prisoners are lucky, they may be able to find the enemy before. God damn it, I was drinking. Like, why? Finally, if the prisoners are lucky, they may be able to find the enemy before they see them. Let's see. Superior firepower and range options allow the prisoners to open fire on the first. Open fire on enemy. Let's see. Superior firepower and range options allow prisoners to open fire on enemies from a distance. Treating them as if they were at short / long range. Pretty much the idea here is you're walking around being like, hey, wait, those are a bunch of fucking demons over there. We've got a good distance on them. We've got advantage of them. We're just gonna fucking pop them a few times. We're gonna pop out of cover. They cannot retaliate against us. We're just gonna shoot them. I have this high-powered rifle. I'm going to kill them. I need to use the little... Alright. The game has 4 attributes, split charisma and normal function into up into 3 of them because I didn't like how much God score and have social heavy games. Yeah, like that honestly, if you plan on doing social games, you need to have different stats to do different things. That's also a very important thing. The Christian gamer just went live. Oh boy, Christian Minecraft server, everybody. The best Minecraft servers. Let's see. So probably throw in some images here just to give some people a little bit of breathing room. I can probably do this. Vanguard, the rear guard, surrounded. I wonder, do I have anything in my folder right now? Crisis. Anything in my folder? We've already used you. We've used you. Donkey. Hello, phone. What do you need, phone? Would you like to tell me something important? Ding on me. Okay, there's a non-zero chance I will be knocked out. It is currently blowing pretty hard out, so have no fear, everybody. I will last until until power goes off. Yes. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the fucking Vatican has a Minecraft server. I would not be surprised in the slightest. Okay, let's actually. Okay, we've got combat structure out. Think about that really. We don't really need to worry about squad positions because we talk about it a little bit in there. So we need to do actions now. Actions are very simple. So character actions. Character action. Each character has each prisoner has a primary and auxiliary. Unfortunately, my mother has just said, I hope it doesn't go off. So it's going to go off. So each prisoner has a primary and auxiliary action to use on their turn. A primary action can be so it would be, let's see, each prisoner's primary auxiliary action used on their turn. A primary action may be used as an auxiliary action. Maybe used as an auxiliary action, but a auxiliary action cannot be for any primary actions. Hello, Mama. What do you need? Tell me it's windy outside again. See, I want to have I want to keep my phone on. This is the important thing. I would like to keep my phone on because in case something happens, I need to be able to reach my mom quickly because make sure that she's okay. However, it does not make my life easier. So let's see, character may use their primary action to to do the following. And then attack with a weapon. Make a roll adding the weapon. Make a roll adding the. Actually, make a judgment. Actually, no, it wouldn't be a judgment. Just make a roll adding the weapon's power, and deal that much damage to an enemy within range. Within range. No judgment is made. Attacks will always hit unless a reaction technique is used. Always add that. Reaction technique is used. The attack roll is 2d6 plus weapon power. 2d6 plus weapon power. But can be augmented by techniques. Actually, the attack roll is 2d6 plus weapon power. Dealing that much damage to the enemy. There we go. Use a technique. The prisoner uses a technique during with the active use or calculating its performing its effects. Wait. Instead of taking a turn, the prisoner drops their IV to 0 for use at drops to 0, allowing them to use their action at a later time. Do nothing. The prisoner, amazingly, does nothing. And then we do other. The prisoner performs a complex task, or any other task permitted by the warden at this time. This includes covering allies or protecting or resolving situations that demand the prisoner. Go, pretty simple. Millions sneak. All right. Okay, let's see. Okay. Character use. A prisoner may use auxiliary action. Perform the following. Move. The prisoner moves one step in any direction. Let's see. The prisoner moves one step in any direction, allowing them to move from the vanguard, center, rear rear guard, and vice versa. If there are multiple fronts to cover, such as during example being surrounded, then the move action may be used to step between them. That's kind of the basic idea. So let's do. You already have to use technique. Use a technique with the. Actually, use an auxiliary technique. Performs a technique with the auxiliary use, performing its effects, and finally remove bad status. Several status effects must be recovered using this. Must be covered action. Other status effects dictated by the Crisis Act. Those dictated by the Crisis Act may not be recovered during this time. May not be recovered though. So let's just talk about reactions real fast, because reactions are fucking weird. Reactions. Certain techniques are regarded as reactions. These take place during an enemy turn, during another actor's turn. These take place during another actor's turn if they attack the prisoner or an ally. Each prisoner has one reaction per round, allowing them to reduce damage or avoid the attack, or to reduce damage or avoid the attack. If an ally uses a reaction to on another, then that ally does not have to use their reaction. But they themselves cannot use their reaction. They themselves cannot use their reaction to defend themselves. Footnote. For example, I can attempt to sway guard against an enemy attacking my ally. I can fail this roll, and they will be actually no. I don't need to worry. To defend themselves. So pretty much is just like, yeah, you want to use barrier defense on me? Cool, that's great. You have a shitty intellect, and now you've just wasted power on, protecting me for literally nothing. Good job, team. You're a fuck up. What do I want? So here's how we're going to make this work. So character action. We want to post character actions. We do heading 2. Then we do insert table 2 by 2. We do something, actually no, we need to do insert table 2. Actually, do we do 2 by 2? I say 2 by 2, but we extend the bottom one out to be a lot larger. Then we do characters may use their primary. Actually, we can do it like this, for example. We do primary actions, and then auxiliary actions. We do something like this, make it look a little bit nicer, but then we can just do. We post this here, and then haha, attack with a weapon, use a technique, wait, do nothing, other. I will say this for every aspiring game designer. I'm gonna make you a very strong argument. Always put in an other action. Just do it. There is no downside to adding in a other action, because what the other action allows you to do effectively is any time a player decides to ask something really stupid, you can actually have something to give them. It's like, hey GM, I want to do this during combat, and it's like, I should say, especially if you have a very structured combat system. Giving them like this, the kind of like mechanical incentive to like do something else is very, because that's going to let them be creative and not feel like they're just wasting an action. It's like, yeah, okay, I did a thing, and now I feel better about it because I did something cool. It's a good thing to have. I see some games that don't have other actions, which is one of the reasons like I don't like PBTA as much, because PBTA explicitly does not have those, because you can't, because PBTA doesn't barely a fucking game, and I will always rant about. You do that, put you 2-5. So we make it our cuckoo choo choo. Probably gonna. I could probably bump you down by 2. And then what we can do is turn you white, make you not that black. We make this table property, make these black. So it's kind of like that. Gives a little bit more character. All right. All right. So what I'm gonna do, oops. Someone literally joined my server, then immediately left. That sounds about right. Alright, I'm gonna call it here for today. We got a lot done. What I will probably do is, because if we do this, mostly I'm ending it because I don't know if I'm just gonna lose fucking power any moment here. What I will probably do is hammer out traps. I'm going to try to get this done off camera. This, like, wow, you're going to get the rest of the combat system done? Yes. Yes, I'm going to just try to get the rest of the combat system hammered out. It may sound like, wow, that's a lot. It's really not going to be a lot. Because what'll happen on Monday then, depending on if things get done, because we'll have another stream. Monday we can actually end things. What we'll do is just do it like pretty much all we need to do now, like generally speaking, is we have advancement, imprints, and then we can just do some then we have to do monsters. If we get all those done, we can spend Monday just doing monsters, because monsters are going to be the largest and most annoying part of this, because it's just a lot of shit, which is just something we gotta do. That's just something we gotta, me, you, and everybody else just kind of has to accept. So that's going to be a long one. But generally speaking, we've gotten over both major humps. It's just the final hump we need to get over, which I'm feeling pretty good. We will have a stream tomorrow, though. Holly Jolly one, so keep an eye out for that. That's mostly going to be me talking about what 2023 is going to be looking like, because I can do that. So, thank you very much. Godspeed, good luck. I'll see you all tomorrow.